flight tomorrow. I have to be back here at 6 in the morning.
You gotta fly.
I'm normally here at 5:30.
You gotta fly away.
I'm flying to Oklahoma City. I'm taking tomorrow off.
Yeah.
Going to Oklahoma City to pick up a motorcycle and ride it back over the next couple of days.
You're gonna ride a motorcycle from Oklahoma City to Arizona?
Get done to it. I've ridden all the way to New York City before on bike from here.
From here? How long did it take?
You'll be introduced yet?
3 days. 2.5 days. You can if you want, if you don't want to wait for the two guys.
No, we don't wait for them to be here all the time. I'll get left. Okay. Okay, gentlemen, this is Mr. Bowman. We've been doing tours over here for you guys on real estate probably 16 or 17 years now, okay? In our church now. And it's all the other classes, they always want to come to Wednesday night. You know, everybody on Wednesday night. So you make them go to the other places, okay? So you guys lucky you got Southwest tonight. Kevin, it's all yours, they're all yours.
Thanks. As Jimmy said, I've been here for, we've been doing this tour for about 16, 17 years. I've missed maybe 2 of them due to surgery or some sort.
Yeah.
I've had to have a stand-in for once in a while.
Yeah.
Then he calls me the next day and says, "That sucks, you weren't here." Anyway, just kidding. 31 and a half years at Southwest. I'm old. I'm 48 of aircraft maintenance. 2 to go to get a Wright Brothers Award. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Wright Brothers Award. Wright Brothers, come on. Charles Taylor.
Yeah.
Charles Taylor. Does anybody know who Charles Taylor is? There you go. All right, so how do you think the Wright brothers developed the engine that the Wright brothers flew their first airplane? Gave you the name, so it should be Charles Taylor. So Charles Taylor is the first aircraft mechanic on record. True aircraft mechanic, dealing with power plant and airframe. Okay, so that's who Charles Taylor was. He actually whittled that engine out of a block of aluminum and steel sleeves using very rudimentary, obviously 1901, 02 machinery. And they did their first successful flight. So Charles Taylor, if you spend 50 years in aviation and aircraft maintenance, you have to do it for 50 years. You are currently, I'm a shop supervisor. I take care of all the back shop stuff. Southwest has decided that there are certain things. Could you find a place to sit, maybe, boss?
Me?
Any chance? Yeah, could you have a seat, maybe? Or if there's not one, we can grab one out back. You're making me nervous standing there in front of me.
Who are you talking to, me or talking to?
You're the one I'm talking to, brother. You can stand, but just stand back here. It's fine. All right. So anyway, there's certain components on the airplane that we fix in-house. We don't send them to an outside vendor. One of them is the windows. So on a 737, it's got sliding windows. It's the captain number 2 window and the FO number 2 window. Both those windows slide open. There's a reason why those slide open. Because believe me, if there was another way for them to get out of the airplane if they needed to in an emergency, those windows would be fixed just like the front ones in the back, the number 3s in the back. But that's their egress, so those windows have to open and close. So because they open and close, the pilots always, when they pull into the gates, they'll crack the windows open when the weather's nice. In Phoenix, it takes about 20 years to get off grades for seniority. It's all based on seniority. So the good news about anybody coming in at Southwest, within the next year or two, or the ones that have hired on within the last year or so. We've hired 130 mechanics in the last year. So most mechanics we've ever hired in 1 year ever. That's just Phoenix. System-wide, we've hired probably 600 mechanics. System-wide, just in the last year, 23.
What about pilots?
Pilots is in the 1,700 range. Yeah, 1,700, 1,800 range. Now they just put a freeze on all the hiring. And we can blame Boeing, just like the news media blames Boeing for everything. We had if you caught the news recently, we had an airplane take off out of Denver, and the engine cowls, the fan cowls. So there's 4 cowls, that's the ones in the back that slide back and forth for the thrust reverser. And then you have the fan cowl, which covers the fan front casing. Anyway, the mechanic had worked on the airplane, had that engine bay open, working on thrust reverser issue, and when he closed it, he didn't make sure that the latches were closed. As a matter of fact, none of them were closed. He didn't even close one of them. And unfortunately, it's something, unless you're you gotta obviously pay attention to what you're doing working on airplanes. They're not jokes. And he got sidetracked. Don't know why, but he did. Anyway, airplane takes off. As soon as they took off, they flew open and one of them ripped back and messed up the leading edge of the wing. They came around and landed. I mean, nobody of course was hurt, but it's an event that made the news. Well, obviously you know about the MAX 9 that Alaska had the door blowout on. There's really, so on the 9, the 800 holds 175 people. The Dash 9, I think, is 189, or it's almost 200 people. But they can actually configure the airplane to hold 220 people. But if they do that, they have to have where that door opened is another exit door that's required to have when you have over 200 people in the airplane. So when the airplane's made, they make it with the door plug bolted in. That door plug is held in place in that opening, very similar to the overwing exit door. It has a latch that latches these cogs over. Oh, there's your two guys. I only had about, it's either 120 or 130 hours on the airframe. So it was definitely a factory issue. Well, of course, the FAA, anytime you screw up, us, Boeing, any airline, they're going to take a look at your entire maintenance program. Okay, the red flag has been waved. And they're going to say, okay, well, we're going to come in and check from front to back. Excuse my French, but asshole to appetite. That's what they're going to do. And we've been hit with it. I mean, we've had them come in, and when the fan blade came out of the, didn't contain in that airplane a few years back, and the young lady when the fan blade exited the engine, which is never supposed to do, but when it did, it blew out a window where she was sitting. And although she had her seatbelt on, she had it on real loose, and it pulled her out. She was dead within seconds. They did finally, when they got below, I think once they got below 10 or 8,000 feet, got slowed down enough to land, they finally got her pulled in, but the pressure was just too great to get her. But, I mean, there was really nothing at that point that anybody could do for her. But when that happened, they were here all the time. I mean, we went months with them up our butt about it. Happens. It's unfortunate. So our job as mechanics, you guys as pilots, you guys as airport managers, is to be safe. Don't ever cut corners. If something's wrong, tell somebody. Don't wait. Tell them right away, hey, this guy's screwing up, or this guy's not doing his job. It sucks that you have to be a tattletale, if you want to call it that way. He might be your best friend or something. But does that really matter when you got 175 people flying in an airplane that could go down? It doesn't. So, it's all about being honest. Integrity is everything in the aviation business, for every job in the aviation business. Over and asked me if I wanted to go work the big rides. That was the Ferris wheel and the umbrellas and the bumper cars. I was running the little kiddie rides, the little boats that go around in a little pool, the little helicopters. That was 63 cents. But 3 days later, he came over and said, hey man, I like the way you hustle these kids around. You want to go over and work the big rides? I said, well, of course I do. He said, all right, he says, more money. I can take more money. He was real big about it. $1.15 an hour. Anyway, that was 50 years ago. 53 years ago. So yeah, the mechanics make It's 150 a year. All right, no overtime, 40 hours a week, right about 150 a year. And hardly all these guys out here just work 40. They'll sign up for overtime. They'll come in on their days off and work, and then, just like what Anise said, her husband's an inspector, been here for 30 years, and he made $240 last year. So he made another $90,000 a year just working some overtime, and he doesn't work every weekend. Doesn't take much. The way they pay these guys, if you work graveyards and then you get called for day shift, which is 6 o'clock until 2:30 in the afternoon, conveniently 2:30 in the afternoon, that's an important number. And then you come back in and work at 9 o'clock at night, you're only off work for 7.5 hours. Because it's 7.5 hours and not 8, you come back at double time. So that night that you come back in, you get paid double time for doing the same job you were doing the night before for regular pay. And then you do it again the next day, right? Now you're working day shift overtime. That's another 8 hours of double time. Of course, you get off at the same time, 2:30. Guess what? It's still not 8 hours, 7.5. You come back in, you work the regular shift again. You get days one more time. In 4 days, instead of 40 hours, it's 160 hours roughly of pay. Man, it's $68 an hour. That shit adds right up. I mean, real quick. I got guys that go on road trips. They'll go to Hawaii, they'll be gone for 4 days. Once they leave here, they're on the clock until they get back. After you work 12 hours, you're double time. After you work 8, you get time and a half. 4 more hours of time and a half goes to double time because you pass 12. You're never off the clock, even when you're in the hotel sleeping. You're never off the clock. You come back and you've got 4 or 5 days of double time basically. 24 hours times 5. 100. Help me out. Who's the math wizard? 24 times 5. 25 times 5 is 125. Minus 5 days would be 120. So 120 hours times 2. 240 hours of pay in 5 days. Time 3, so she picked them up and then they were all home and it was a madhouse. And then at 8 o'clock at night I left for work. This is the oldest guy that works at Southwest Airlines right here. The oldest individual mechanic. Take a guess. And it's over 90. I'm kidding. Dennis?
What he says, take it with a grain of salt. Okay? Or if you have a watch, make sure you save it. Okay, because it gets deep. Hey, no,
Time gone?
no, halftime.
Oh, okay, halftime show. Dennis been here he's been here, what about it, 2 years?
I started with Southwest in 1983. Okay? I'm 76 years old. I've retired from Southwest twice. Do what you love to do, which I love to do this. Okay? Don't burn bridges. Be honest with yourself and the people you work with. That's it.
It's kind of the theme of the
It's
night.
real simple. Same thing that he's saying. Okay? And you'll love it.
It's a great career.
Check.
I'm 17 years old. My dad takes me out. I'm a senior in high school. My dad takes me out to go fly an airplane. You want to go to the airport and fly? So my dad wanted his pilot flight back when I was a little bitty guy. So he'd go to the airport all the time. Got heart trouble, never could say. Now it's like a 17-year-old kid that, he knew I want to fly. He bought model airplanes like crazy here. 2000 we were born. So when I turned 17, started my senior year in high school, he said, let's go out to the airport. The 1977, 76. Huh? $800. $800. Dad up front paid $800. Now that was for 40 hours of flight time and 20 hours of instruction time. If I needed more than that, it's all on me. Total bill for getting your pilot's license are 40 hours of flying, 100% of them, and 20 one condition. You cannot stop. You have to get your private pilot license at least, minimum. I'll pay for everything. Still cost me $3,500 for her to get her pilot's license. Using my airplane and I'm paying for the fuel. It's crazy. I about puke. Because every time I turn around, I'm having to write a $500 check for, 4 hours of flying with an instructor. He was in love with her instructor. Yeah, the guy's like 9 years old. Not even, like 6 years old. They're still friends today. Matt Losacker, he's a pilot for us in South Carolina. World weird circle. Anyway, only 2 hours in a tricycle gear airplane. She flew in. The instructor made her fly an arch to get the tricycle gear time. But all the other hours were all. She got her, the examiner, they took the 140 for that and everything. It was pretty fun. Fun watching her do it all. Where was I going though? Somebody asked me a question, or I'm going to fix it. And she said, well, my dad is like a head guy out at Northrop at Shepherd Air Force Base. Northrop had a contract to work on T-37 and T-38 aircraft. That's the trainer plane for the Air Force. I said, really? I said, well, maybe I can get a job out there. She said, I bet you can. So that afternoon, I went out to Northrop, got on the base, got a visitor pass, filled out an application. I put Harold Everett down as a reference, who was the base manager of the operation, whom I never met. I only knew her daughter, but 3 days later I got a phone call for an interview. How do you know Harold? I go to school with his daughter. Oh, great, come on down for an interview. And they wanted me to start right away, but I still have to finish high school. But I graduated on a Friday, started working at Northrop at Shepherd Air Force Base on that Monday, or the following Monday. Worked out there for 15 years. Moved out here, he's 13 and a half, I moved out here. And then they closed this base out here. So I went to work for the airlines. I went to work for TWA for a year, and then I got hired on here at Southwest. So get it, they taxi. All right. Actually has drugs. What? This is a coffee maker. So, I work out the maker. You open the sign. Seriously. For a coffee maker, what they did. You get a bunch of engineers in the room. What else do a coffee maker? Freaking amazing. I'm going to spin it, so watch yourself. Okay, so this is the exhaust. Back here. Let's stop at the top. So you know I'm old and fat and I hate space. I don't care. My 5th grade adopted pilot classes, so I rolled off about 75 to 100 feet of that stuff. At the end, they all stand up along the line. I tell them they have to wait. Okay, go. I got this. I just remember where my keys were. Okay. Yep, we get up. We got it. All right. So the mechanic and the fuel the fuel team, which is a vendor. They do it together, the mechanic and the fuel vendor. The guy that puts gas in your line. They're gonna, so this, you somehow. All right, hey, look, it already caught. He has a heart attack. Down on the freaking floor, flopping around like this. We've got the flight attendants hooking this AED up, and it's telling us what to do. We're talking on the radio that's in the back of the airplane to a doctor, and he's telling them what to do. They actually have training for CPR, all that stuff. They've got a little bit of nursing experience, you know, through training, how to get epidural, epidural. Coming in here in about probably 5 or 7 minutes. Oh, sweet. But they're not going to pull it inside when they get here. They'll stop it out there. They have to do all the function checks and stuff out there before they bring it in. We can go look at an airplane. Let's go look at it. You're going to get the same effect.
I'm going to do with a degree of assistance.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my degree though. I'm not sure like what I'm going to do, but right now. Yeah.
Another thing, it's going to be dark in there, so have your camera lights on. All right, look.
That's pretty cool.
On the other side, will be a little less congested, but now's your time. Come on around here, guys. Let me explain. 30 minutes per day. Want to see inside the airplane? Y'all respect the airplanes, I'll ask. Respect the airplanes.
Well, this is going to go in the journal. It's pretty cool. So we're on the mix. This is pretty cool.
You get. I assume they just. Hey, what? I assume they just flew you out.
Yeah, they took me out here.
You got.
That's where they have all their snacks and stuff.
Oh. Maybe I'll take a Dr. Pepper for the road. I don't know if that's allowed.
No.
No?
No, I would not. It's like, you won't have to pay for that back. For your tuition.
Probably.
Not a good idea. Oh, that's it. That's it. A lot of play. It's just small.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a nice suit. Thank you. Yeah.
This is an airplane cockpit.
Medevac EPOP Echo, if able, continue reducing speed. There's a Skyhawk ahead of you. They're just touching down now. Next left turn left, Hotel 5. Taxi Hotel.
Is the speaker always on?
No, I turn it on, turn it off.
Gotcha, so we
Yeah.
can hear. Cool.
Yeah.
Here. Auto.
You know what's what? First
Ah.
of all, you know what needs to. 1700. Yep.
Cool.
That's what I told my kids. None of my kids went to college. My son is a very successful hot rod builder. Been on TV with Discovery Channel with but it just seems so far away. Like 30 years old before I found it. God, I wish I was. I did it.